Scorsese's done it again. Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back to the #1 Scorsese fangirl channel on YouTube. Probably not. I really love Martin Scorsese, but today I'm going to be talking about The Irishman. Before I get into it though, I do want to let you know I'm suffering through a little bit of a cold, so this video may be a little bit shorter because I don't have a whole lot of energy to exert. I will be saying that in Friday's review as well. I'll try to talk about as much as I can about this 3.5 hour long movie and as quick as I can, barring the fact that I am a massive fan of Scorsese. Also, there will probably be a lot more of what I have in my notes versus what I actually talk about. That will be going up on my Patreon tomorrow, same time that this video goes live, noon Pacific, as well as notes for a couple other movies that I have seen but have not or will not do movie reviews over. That is namely the new Charlie's Angels movie and the Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I will not be doing reviews for those, but if you want to see my notes, they will be going up on my Patreon sometime soon for $10 plus patrons. But let's get started talking about The Irishman. I honestly really knew nothing about the Jimmy Hoffa situation. I know like small bits of it, like small facts, but it's really not something that is in the forefront of my historical knowledge. Most of my historical knowledge is stupid World War II information or like film history. So Jimmy Hoffa wasn't something that I knew a lot about, but when I saw the trailer, seeing that it was directed by Martin Scorsese, it had De Niro, Pesci, Pacino, oh god, so many other people. I know, Harvey Keitel, like every person in all of my favorite Scorsese movies except for probably Leonardo DiCaprio, and Pacino has never been in a Scorsese movie until now, but like he was in Godfather and Godfather Part 2 and Part 3. I haven't seen Part 3, but I love both The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2. I was so excited for this movie. I did not care if it was good. I did not care if it was bad. I wanted to see it in theaters, but I also did not want to spend 3.5 hours in the movie theater, so I waited till it was on Netflix and watched it from the comfort of my own bed. And that was probably the best idea because I did end up falling asleep and then waking up and rewinding the 15 minutes that I fell asleep for. I had a lot of fun. I say fun loosely with this movie because it is a very, very long movie. You definitely feel the length of it. There are some parts that probably could be cut out. I'm not exactly sure what they would be though, because a lot of what happens, as in with most Scorsese movies, everything connects to each other. There are small bits in each individual story and backstory and flash forward, like every single part of a Martin Scorsese movie is necessary to further the plot along and to get you to the end of the film. There's things that I'm not sure could have been cut out. This probably was 4.5, 5 hours long before it was even cut down. And I trust Thelma Schoonmaker and Scorsese to be able to cut this film down to its appropriate length for what is necessary, because even though I felt bored at some points and I did fall asleep, I still really enjoyed myself. I will not say that it is my favorite Martin Scorsese movie. I don't think anything that I just said made any sense. I don't know what is up. Sick brain. I will not say that this is my favorite Scorsese movie, but it is also not my least favorite. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. It is a lot closer to like Goodfellas, Taxi Driver, Mean Streets, Casino, my like core favorites of Martin Scorsese. It's up there with Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street is like a good one, but it's not my absolute favorite of his. Definitely Taxi Driver. Definitely Taxi Driver. It's great. There are things that I have issues with, namely the de-aging in some points. De Niro mostly, a little bit Joe Pesci, somewhat Al Pacino, but you really only notice it with De Niro. There's something with his eyes, the blue of his eyes feels off to me, and his skin is too smooth, and the like signature mole, it's not like signature mole, but his like character defining mole that De Niro has feels blurred out at some points, but then at other points when he's older it feels more defined in there and it's like darker. It's very weird. I had a lot of issues with it going into this movie from the trailers, and everyone's praising it, but I'm not a fan of this de-aging stuff. It felt weird and wrong to me, especially since pretty much everybody who's going to be watching this movie knows what those three characters looked like when they were the age that they were portraying in the de-aging segments. I have known what De Niro has looked like since he was 21. Like when he was in Mean Streets, I think he was 21 in Mean Streets. It's very weird for me to see him in his 30s and 40s de-aged when that's what he was in like Goodfellas and Casino. was a little off for me, but that's about the extent of my complaints, the de-aging and the length, because everything else in this is pure Martin Scorsese. He is, despite what he says about the MCU, he is a masterclass filmmaker. I love him so much. He was the filmmaker that really brought me into doing what I do, not him personally, but a class I took studying his work. I owe a lot of what I do to Martin Scorsese. I don't think I could say a bad word about a lot of his movies, except for, I don't know, like Age of Innocence. I wasn't a big fan of Age of Innocence. Everything in this movie is a hallmark of a Scorsese classic gangster mobster film. The music, how it is, like, it's set, the music is scored specific to each era that is being portrayed. He likes to use a lot of music that was popular during the time that he is making the film, or like the film is set in. And he also likes to weave the music in and out from diegetic to non-diegetic and back and forth, and he does a great job of that as well. There is not as much slow motion. He uses a lot of slow motion for either big turning points within a character's life or a big change within a character's life, same thing, but big decisions that a character makes, like something big having to do with the character. He uses that quite often in his films, in most of them. In this one, I only noticed it once or twice, but they were very big, important parts of the film that are a real big turning point for De Niro's character of Frank. I mean, it's still there. His trademark is still there. There's also the long follow shots that we get, like the Copacabana scene and Goodfellas, plus the signature narration from the main character reflecting back on and leading the audience through the story, and so many other different things that are just so classic Scorsese. Again, any of this stuff that I am mentioning but not going into full detail on will be in a lot more detail on my notes on Patreon if you really want to dive into my thoughts on some of these things. And finally, the cast is fantastic. Like I mentioned earlier, it's just a laundry list of all of the great mob movie, gangster movie actors, but De Niro, Pacino, Keitel, Pesci, so many great guys. And the three that I want to focus on are, of course, De Niro, Pesci, and Pacino. They are, for the most part, playing their normal character types. De Niro is like that strong, stoic, silent, right-hand man type that he normally plays. And Pacino is definitely that crazy loud character with a short fuse. The only one I feel who is playing a slightly different version of any of their characters is Pesci. He is fairly even-tempered, and he doesn't fly off the handle like he does with a lot of his characters. It was very interesting for me to see that. It's been a while since I've seen Casino, but I think that his character in Casino is fairly similar to his character in Goodfellas. Could be misremembering that, but he is not the unpredictable, uneven-tempered person that he had normally plays, in my opinion. But overall, I know this is a Netflix movie, and it will probably not be released on physical. My rewatch score for this is still collection. I would give it like a 4 out of 5 for like my taste in Scorsese movies, but I would definitely, if this ever comes out on physical, purchase the Blu-ray because I want to have the physical copy, because as you guys know, I love collecting films. So having a movie on physical that I can just look at the beautiful artwork and put on my shelf is something that I love, especially if it is a Scorsese movie. So even if it's a movie that I don't like, I still would love to have it in my collection. Sick brain. Those are my thoughts on The Irishman. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Is it your favorite Scorsese movie? If not, let me know which one is in the comments down below. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really, truly do appreciate you. Whoever you are, let me know here in the comments down below. And let's be friends if you enjoyed this video. And subscribe if you're new, because I also talk things, movies, TV shows, filmmaking, history, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye.